Hello and welcome to this short information video from NIJAC on the County Court Judge Recruitment Scheme. My name is April Matchett and I am the Communications and Diversity Manager at NIJAC. I'm delighted to be joined today by His Honour Judge Stephen Fowler QC, Presiding County Court Judge and Recorder of Belfast. Judge Fowler was appointed to the County Court in 2011, and since NIJAC are currently recruiting, we thought this would be a good opportunity to sit down with him and to learn more about the role of a judge. Judge Fowler, thank you for joining us. Can we start by you telling us a little bit about your background and how you came to work in the County Court?
Yes, thank you for having me, April. Well, I was called to the bar in 1984. Initially, I had a very mixed practice and was involved in basically family, criminal and civil cases. However, when it took silk in 2006, my work as a Queen's Counsel saw me specialising much more in criminal cases. This involved me dealing with fairly complex cases such as murder, sexual assault cases, and fraud trials. I appeared regularly in the Crown Court, the Court of Appeal, for both the prosecution and the defence. During the course of my work as a QC, I became interested in a judicial career, and I took the opportunity when it came to apply to be a judge. I took part in an NIJAC competition, very broadly the same as the competition in the recruitment scheme that we're presently dealing with. I applied and I was fortunate enough to be successful. The competition was, I have to say, challenging. But I was, as I say, fortunate enough to be successful, and I took up my post as a peripatetic County Court judge in January of 2011. Then in 2016, I became the assigned judge for Fermanagh and Tyrone. This was a very large area, and I was responsible for the criminal, the civil and the family business within that division. This gave me quite considerable leadership and management opportunities, and I remained there for approximately 3 years until about 2019, when I was assigned a County Court judge for Belfast. Then in November 2020, I was appointed as the presiding County Court judge and recorder of Belfast. And in a sense, that's my career thus far in the law.
Oh, it's quite a varied one, Judge. Could you take some time and describe the nature of the work of a County Court judge?
Yes. First of all, I would say that the nature of the County Court judge's role is varied, and it's of considerable breadth. And the work carried out by a County Court judge really falls into three main areas: family, civil and criminal. However, over the years, this has expanded quite considerably and now involves a very significant commitment from the County Court judges who are involved in hearing inquests, extraditions, historical institutional abuse redress board cases. Not only is the work broad in its range that's dealt with, but we also hear some of the most serious and complex and important cases in society, particularly in terms of criminal cases. County Court judges are specifically trained to deal with murder cases and indeed very serious sexual offence cases. And also in the family care centre, County Court judges hear incredibly sensitive cases involving the protection of some of the most vulnerable in our community. These include child protection and freeing for adoption cases. This is a huge responsibility for the County Court judges who are dealing with these regularly. County Court judges also hear important legacy inquests. These very often involve considerable volumes of case papers going back many, many years. Then they have to hear the evidence, they have to assess it before giving detailed written findings. As well as our court work, judges are involved in many committees, and they consider and examine the impact of legislation and procedural changes on how cases are progressed and determined. County Court judges are also engaged in outreach work within the community to heighten awareness of the role of judges and the role of the law in society. For example, I have worked with schools in relation to taking the children through the initial crime scene right to a court hearing and doing moot trials with them. County Court judges are also encouraged to be involved in our community in many other ways, such as school boards of governors, charity boards, local sports, and other club committees. So the breadth and the complexity of our work is quite significant.
Yeah, you've really described a broad workload there, but can you tell us what a typical day would be like, if there is a typical day?
Well, one of the real attractions of the role as a county court judge is that there is no really typical day because of the range of work that we do. But much of my work is involved in criminal cases at the moment, and it does have a more typical day to it. My typical day would start with dealing with administrative applications in chambers, such as bail variations and sometimes injunction cases that come into the court system. All of these are done in chambers, and many of them are done administratively. After the court begins hearing applications actually in court, the types of applications I would hear in a normal morning would be, for example, arraignments, where people are in to either plead guilty or not guilty to the charges, adjournment applications, and also as part of a very careful and proactive case management system, I would also list cases which have disclosure issues in them, abusive process arguments, no bill, and bail applications. We would then do a review of the cases that are coming close to trial to make sure that they're ready for trial. In order to effectively plan and have ready cases for trials involving very vulnerable young children or vulnerable defendants, I'll often conduct what's called ground rules hearings. They're designed to enhance the quality of the evidence of the vulnerable witnesses and to ensure their effective participation in trial. Depending on the number of cases and the cases that have been listed for mention in my list, I'll also list a number of pleas and sentence for hearing in the morning. All of this is done before the trial is started. You may well have a jury already sworn, or sometimes you'll have to swear a jury after you do these applications. But we then start with the jury, and we will spend the rest of the day hearing evidence, cross-examination, and then ultimately to charge the jury. So we do all that in court, and then after we finish that, probably around 4:30, we'll then start some preparation, perhaps doing disclosure for cases that are upcoming, perhaps even chairing a committee meeting that you're involved in, or preparing sentencing remarks or your charge for the jury in the next day or so. So your day is pretty full and varied even throughout the day. There's absolutely no doubt it's interesting and extremely enjoyable.
And what are some of the challenges of the role?
In terms of challenges in the role, really the volume and variety of the work makes the role challenging. But equally, this is one of the things that I enjoy most about the role. To deal with the challenge of the volume and variety of the work, it's really important that you have good time management skills. As I mentioned earlier, the cases can be complex. They can involve detailed examination of considerable volumes of statements, exhibits, and evidence. And this requires the ability to manage your own time as well as the time of others very effectively and efficiently. It also requires an ability to analyze and grasp the important issues in the case very quickly and be able to make appropriate decisions decisively and consistently, and particularly under pressure of time. Really, that's one of the major challenges within the role.
Mm. And what do you enjoy most about the work? I know from hearing you speak, it really comes across that you enjoy what you do. What is it that you enjoy the most?
Well, the work's demanding. The opportunity to deal with a wide variety of people, a wide variety of cases, means that it doesn't ever become completely routine. You have the opportunity to deal with areas of law which you might not otherwise experience in private practice or you've never come across before. The constant variety of the cases you get to hear and the challenges that brings is important to me. Equally important is the fact that the county court bench is a very collegiate tier. And really, to sum up, what I enjoy most is the variety of the work, and importantly, the judges and the people I have the privilege of working with. That's what I enjoy the most.
Well, that's great. And what about work-life balance?
I've found that the ability to have a work-life balance is much more readily achievable on the bench than I ever experienced working, certainly as a senior counsel in private practice.
Well, that's good to hear. And I suppose let's just finish. Do you have any advice for those considering applying for the county court?
Yes, if you're interested in the county court judge's role and you see that as a natural progression for your career, you should apply. You should go into the competition with confidence. Do your research the role meticulously, read the job description and the competencies required, and make sure you cover all aspects of these in your application form. Choose very carefully the examples you wish to showcase your intellect and skills with. Prepare well for interview and be keen to just demonstrate exactly why your particular knowledge and skills will transfer readily to the role of a county court judge.
Judge Fowler, thank you so much for your time and just for the helpful information that you shared.
April, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to tell everyone about the role of a county court judge.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Well, let me finish by reminding you that the County Court Judge Recruitment Scheme is open to applications and closes at 12 noon on Wednesday, the 22nd of June. It is intended to make 4 appointments and to maintain a reserve list for 12 months. For further information and to apply, please visit the NIJAC website, www.nijac.gov.uk, and we'll include all the relevant links in the video description below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this short video.